We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toe the Line with me, George Glinsky. Today, joined by Paul the Soul Snatcher Hilz, who is fighting Conan Barbaru on June the 11th at BKB 26. Paul, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, George. I'm good, mate.
Obviously, that name, Conan Barbaru, it's been a lot of talk online, particularly from Conan. I think you've been fairly quiet, apart from an Instagram story I saw earlier that was quite amusing. But there seems to be some genuine bad blood here, Paul.
Well, there wasn't, obviously, and Conan pulled out the fight, which, for whatever his reasons were, fair enough. I was left without a fight that night, and after that weekend, it definitely did. It really did get to me, George. But it is what it is. It was nothing to it. I think I had an interview that maybe, I was a little bit vexed about or whatever. But I was only being honest as well. And then Conan jumped on that on your interview. I see. I actually didn't watch it because I thought I don't want to get into this bickery shit. But someone sent it through to me, and he was like, "Yeah, Paul thinks he's some sort of a gangster and all this shit, or something along them lines." And I'm not being funny, George. Like, shut up, you fucking bellend. Like, there is nothing like he can try to get. What he's trying to do is trying to get exposure. He's trying to get the shit talk going, so that everyone's looking. Everyone's, "Oh yeah, Conan's fighting Paul." Blah, fucking blah, blah, blah. He had his chance to make a big statement last time round, right? He, for whatever reasons, pulled out. I went on to have a cracking fight and become victorious in that. I allowed me to fight him, George. It weren't that he was fucking, like I was Conan. No, right? I was ready to fight anyone and whatever. And BKB said to me, "Listen, there is no one at this stage to fight you. There is no one at your weight to fight you." And obviously, Conan's chomping at the bit to try and get back on, the fight cards, because obviously he pulled out and everyone's looking at him like that. And they went, obviously, Conan wants to get back in there and make a name for himself, this, that, and the other. And that is a powerful fight, Paul. It's not like it's an easy fight. It's a fucking hard fight. And the fans are going to love it, this, that, and the other. And I thought, yeah, the fans are going to love it. Do you know what? I'm going to fucking love it. Because when I get hold of him, I'm going to ragdoll him, And he's got this right solid talk and this bravado of like he's talking like he's a fucking hitman or something. He's going to come and take me out. Bro, fuck off. You know what I mean? Get a life. Like the BKB fight game ain't about the way that he's trying to make it. I'm not about that. I've never really spoke shit on people that I'm going to fight, and I don't really choose to. Obviously, me and Conan done that promo thing, that filming in that warehouse in London. And again, it was all good. Like, it was all good vibes, if you get what I'm saying, George. There's no shit in this. We know we're going to punch the fuck out of each other. And, we got on with the filming that day, respectful as fighters do. I don't see why he's trying to turn it into this, like, whatever. Do you know what, George? I don't even give a fuck either. On June the 11th, was said and done. It's been said and done. And we're going to put our fucking nuts together and we're going to have a good tear up. And, I'm going to become victorious and I'm going to move on with the journey. Simple.
Obviously, with all the words that have been expressed and the back and forth, I think it started off with our interview, I believe, I can't remember exactly when it was just after that fight, leading up to the quarter step fight, wasn't it, where you mentioned that you were very disappointed in what happened, and that seemed to rile him up. And in my interview with him, he really...
Do you know what? Do you know, George, listen, right? This is nothing it was to me. I don't even remember what we spoke about. I don't even care, yeah? Like, if he wants to get rough up, so fucking what? Let yourself get wound up, I don't care. Or I don't care about any of it. And I certainly don't give a fuck how he feels, I just don't, mate. I don't know, like, I think he's making something out of nothing, George, to make it something, so it's all singing, all dancing, everyone look at Conan, but yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? But I've been and done it all before, George. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Have you dealt with this before, though? Because usually you tend to have, a lot of respect between you and your opponent? I haven't seen, I don't know about your, maybe your unlicensed career, but I haven't seen genuine bad blood between you and opponent before.
It's a switch, George. So it's not, if I'm getting on with someone before a fight, it's the way it is. If I'm not getting on with someone before a fight, I don't give a fuck, right? It's irrelevant. I'm not his pal. You know, the difference is you pay respect because you're a professional athlete, and that's how you should do it. You know, we're in paid ranks. Do you get what I'm saying? We should hold down a position of, you know, we've got to be, you know, we've got to be righteous, if you get what I'm saying, especially in the bare-knuckle game. You know, sort of looked at as taboo and a negative thing. The last thing you do is walk around like an arsehole, you know, and make a name worse for the game. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't care about it. Do you know, I really don't, George. It's one of them things where what does anger me is the more it's addressed, I feel that the more that's what he wants out of it. And I just don't like I don't like no one, I don't like, it cringes me saying it, okay, because I don't think that I'm anywhere or anyone in BKB, but I do feel that he's trying to get me to play up to his games, to get, like, you know, attention, you know, and I get that, all right, it's a tactical move, but I don't give a fuck for it.
Does it come from a place of insecurity, do you think, or do you think, as you say, it's just for the views, it's just to build up hype for this fight?
I don't look that deep into it, mate. Do you know what I mean? I know what my views are of the situations, and I always keep that private anyway, George. You get, like I say, I'm into this thing of getting on, yeah, he's a dick, he's doing this, I don't care, right? I know why he's doing it, and whatever. If that's what he's got to do, that's what he's got to do. It's all irrelevant when that bell goes ring. What was that?
And I mean, you're coming off a career-defining victory against Quarterstick, your best performance to date, arguably your best win in terms of quality of opponent. And this, in my opinion, at least, seems to be a step in the right direction. Would you say this is a step up from your previous opponent in Quarterstick?
It's not like that, George. I'll tell you what it is. It's Quarterstick it sort of was the international touching thing because he's YB. And Conan's a dangerous opponent for anybody. I believe he's more dangerous than what his record says. I think he's only had 3 fights, isn't he? Sure. But the difference is he'll go down and he will throw it in with anyone. And in the bare-knuckle game, mate, like, it's a 50-50, George. So, you know, there's definitely other fights that I could have looked at style-wise that would think, oh, I'll be all right and I can do this and do that. I know going in there with Conan, it is going to be absolute war. And that's what I do, George. Like, you know, I'm not under no illusions. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, I'm a great boxer and I don't get touched and all this bollocks. It's going to go off, you know what I mean? Conan's prepared to go down. And, yeah, so am I, you know, and it's going to be one of the things where I don't really think that the danger's in the accepting of the fight, if you get what I'm saying, George, because that's all tactics. It's all, oh yeah, well, you've had a great win over an international opponent. You know, I mean, Conan's, you know, he's lost against Nathan, and then he pulled out of your fight. You know, it was almost spoke down sort of thing. But the reality of it is, he's a fucking dangerous and live opponent, and that's why I took the fight. Like, if that makes any sense, I know it don't really sound like a tactical fighter doing it, but I just thought, out of everyone, like, he's probably going to come and give me the best war that I want, you know.
How important is it then to keep up that momentum? You've got
I've got to destroy him. I've got to destroy him. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, before I've gone in there with the mentality of that, but pretty much spoke it and sort of had the game plan that this and this and this and that. Conan's got to fucking make sure he's on top of his thing, because I am fucking bringing it, like, springing it, like, you know, people say I'm an aggressive fighter, you know, I'm straight out the traps, mate. You ain't seen nothing. Yeah, I've seen enough of that talk, but yeah, it's going off, George. It's going to be fight of the night.
Definitely. And in terms of particulars, there was originally, I believe it was a title eliminator bout. Has there been any discussion about that being on the line again? Is it a final eliminator?
I don't give a shit. I ain't even asked. Didn't care. Don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah, I sort of like Nathan got addressed, Canelli got addressed, and then Conan's name come up, and yeah, whatever. I just said, I want to have a fight. You know what I mean? To be fair, do you know if it's a 5 round, George?
I'm completely unaware. I believe it's a 3-rounder, but I just wondered if there was any potential of a title eliminator. Obviously, it's not been officially announced, and I certainly haven't had it told to me by Jim yet.
Yeah, well, I've been talking to Jim as if it's a 5 rounder. That's what I'm ready for. You know, I want to fucking smash the fuck out of him for 5 rounds, mate.
To punish him, is that the idea?
No, I ain't talking like that. But what, you trying to put his words in my mouth? I ain't that muggy, George. No way. No, I'm going to do what I do, all right? And, all right, so look at like this. I'll be snatching his soul. There you go.
Nice. We like that. So, obviously, you've had 2 shots at the British title. You're in a position where you're always a fight or 2 away from, getting back into that picture. Does a win, in your opinion, against Conan Barbaru elevate you back up to a title shot?
It was spoke about like that, George, yeah, because at the end of the day, BKB was the one saying to me, we've got no one to offer you at 78 or 79. No, 79 we fight. We've got no one to offer you, so if they're offering me the only person that's up there with me sort of thing, challenging people, if I take him out, then who else is there? I'm not being cocky. I didn't mean that like that. Oh yeah, who else is there? No, I won't say that. I'm saying literally, who else is there? I was told that there was like Kennelly won't be fighting on the next show. Obviously, Barry Jones is doing his thing. I don't know when he's fighting next. It wasn't even spoke about type thing. Obviously, they had the 2 titles in the division. I'm just going to keep knocking them out, George. And yeah, BKB can lay on all the fights they want. You know what I mean? This year's going to be a big year.
It's not just for you, but the entirety of the Bare-Knuckle world. I mean,
That's right.
Incredible things happening at the moment. But your division as well is starting to hot up a little bit. You've had a few young prospects, Aaron Slimane. You've got Ellis Lacey coming through at 80 kilograms. James Kennelly, the newly crowned British champion. And then, of course, you've always got Nathan De Castro, which you've already thought, but that rematch has been something you've been interested in for a while. So what do you make of the current landscape at 80 kilograms? There's quite a few really good fights.
Any of them, mate. There's nothing like, there's no disrespect to them either, George. I'm not being a dickhead, but there's no names there that you've said that I thought, whatever. I want it all, bro. You know what I mean? I want all the smoke, and I've got all the smoke to bring.
So obviously people will be tuning into this card, and for multiple reasons. There's just so many great fights. A lot of people are saying the best cards in the history of bare-knuckle boxing. You could say that. I think there's been some incredible ones over the years, but this is definitely up there. So for people that are tuning into this card, why in particular should they tune into your fight?
Without needing to sell it, do your own work on the fight. Look at the whole build up to BKB 24. Look at the footage of the interviews that we've done in London that day, the warehouse stuff. And then look at me on the night, like when he pulled out, and then look at the interviews after, look at his response. It's going off, mate. It's going off. You know what I mean? So I don't really need to sell the fight. If you're into BKB, you're going to know what me and Conan are going to get up to that night,
Definitely. So then, obviously, you've got to thank people that have really helped you up to this point, this massive fight. Who have you got to thank? Sponsors, thanks, team, whoever you want to shout out.
Well, there is 3 people that I've got to address before anything, George, and it's not sponsors and it's not trainers, it's not this, that and the other. There's been a right change in my camps. There was for the Stilts fight, but that was a bit of no man's land now. We're sticking with that sort of thing. I've got no trainer now, George. On my night, there'll be Darcy Delaney in my corner, Simon from Fitness Factory, and Ollie Pinnock. Obviously, Ollie's letting me use the gym for my career at BKB, and I can't thank him. Ringmaster Boxing in Eastwood. It's a creditable gym, bruv, and it's solid, and it's. He's really welcomed the whole situation, the journey down now, and it's brilliant. We've got other pro fighters coming down now because obviously I'm close and local. obviously before I weren't local, so there's like a little knock-on effect of everything, and camp seems to have sort of tightened up and, you know, got harder if anything. But that's saying I've sort of invited. I've got to thank him for all his hard work he's done. Darcy Delaney as well. These are all people, not so much Ollie, but Darcy Delaney and Simon. They're people that support from afar, but they are there and they are part of the team, you know, creditable part of the team. Simon will be there that night, obviously, and Darcy will be in the corner as well that night. Yeah, so I've got to thank them for their time, effort, and just, you know, our plans that we come up with before we go into sponsorship. All right, mate? And then obviously the sponsors, which are the other side, which make it possible for me to, you know, chase this dream and support us in the journey, sort of thing. I couldn't do it without them. That's the cold-hearted truth. We've got TWN Limited, Total Waste Management Limited, over on Burnt Mills. Anything to do with recycling, they're a great firm, very helpful, great rates. Hit them up. They're on Facebook, Instagram, or just if you Google them, Total Waste Management Limited, Basildon. You got new to the team, but he's going to be sticking with us for the team, the companies, and they've really, really helped with a lot of stuff behind the lines already for this camp. So I've got to really, really big them up. But it's BA Surfacing in Wickford. They're a tarmacking surfacing company, but they do loads of different work from like small scale to massive scale. Great helpful company again. Hit them up there on Facebook, BA Surfacing. We've got Black Sheep Dispensary, which is obviously my CBD dispensary sponsors, and they help me with all my recovery needs in camp as we get, because we're so young, George. Vibrant. We don't need much, you know, supplements. But yeah, anything we need, they help us out. Great. We've got Churchill's Car Sales in Malden as well. Jack over there. That's a great company. Yeah, they work with car finance. They can offer you great deals from normal range cars up to high-end cars. They're a great company. Give them a look on Google. And we've got CMOS Co. Again for recovery. CMOS Gel. It's a great product. Hit them up on Instagram if you need any of that. DC Exposure, which is Diamond Clarity Exposure, is working with us as a photo sponsor now. He's been coming down to a few sessions. He's been getting some great snaps. I mean, any fighters out there, I'm not just trying to sell him. I was getting his work before I even knew, if you get what I'm saying. I was ordering his photos. I was ordering photos from our nights, George, the BKB nights, and I was ordering off of him. And then when he approached me, he just said, look, you know, I like the sort of your training, blah, 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 blah. Would you fancy to collaborate? And I said, yeah, definitely. And he's a mastermind at getting the right shot, I tell you. He's pulled off some great shots. So, and he's DC Exposure on Instagram. So hit him up. And obviously Box Fit, do all the clothes if you want any of the team already clothing. They do a great range down there, and hit them up. And if you need any boxing equipment or anything, I'd say they're one of the best stores in the country. Box Fit UK, hit them up. Yes, George, and that's it. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I can't wait to see this fight. I look forward to seeing you on June the 11th. And yeah, best of luck, Paul, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you very much, George. Take it easy.